Welcome to Stereo 3D Productions. I'm about to get into No Man's Sky in virtual reality, but first I have to mention that this very video will be available in stereoscopic 3D. I'm going to be adding it to my playlist for the YouTube VR app. If you own a virtual reality headset and you don't know how to watch my videos in the YouTube VR app, scroll down to the description below. There's going to be a link to a video that's going to explain the process to you. Now, No Man's Sky in virtual reality. We're talking about a game that launched 3 years ago, and the funny thing is, the only thing I know about this game is all the rage I heard on launch day about the game being incomplete and having a multitude of issues. It looks like they went through a really lengthy early access program.
Dude,
and then
that's a crock of shit! Don't lie to your audience!
Who the fuck are you?
That's not even important, but my name is Joe.
Okay, Joe, you're kind of interrupting me right now.
Look, the point is that game was never in early access.
Wait, what the fuck are you talking about? Okay, there is no fucking way in hell that game was never in early access.
It was so bad that people thought it was a fucking scam.
Wait, are you... Huh. So you mean to tell me that these guys launched a game in a really incomplete state without labeling it as early access and pissed off a whole bunch of people?
Yeah, look it up, it was a fucking disaster.
Alright, thank you, Joe. I don't know how you got into my home, but can you please get the fuck out right now?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. I really have to start locking my doors.
Okay, let's get this out of the way first. I am not much for this new scary trend of studios releasing a game in under a 5% completion state without even labeling the thing as early access. Not only do I hate this, I kinda condemn it. It makes the studio doing it look bad, but it also makes the industry itself look freaking terrible. See, had Hello Games come along their planned release date and said, look guys, we fucked up. We're behind schedule, we won't be able to deliver, but here's early access. We're going to announce a final release at a later date. I think things would have gone a lot smoother for them. Sure, they would have gotten a little bit of backlash, but nothing like what I saw on this game's release date. Boy, the launch day rage was real. Now, fortunately, I was spared of this launch day rage, aside from the stuff I saw on YouTube and social media, mostly because I focus on games that have virtual reality support. And virtual reality support wasn't even expected for No Man's Sky. So to my surprise, when they announced the Beyond update, they announced that they would implement full-fledged virtual reality, and that's where they got my attention. So I put the game on my radar, aka my Steam wishlist, and I was looking forward to it. And then came along another surprise. 1 week before the Beyond update dropped, Eincro from Eincro Productions Co. gifted me this game. So that got me really stoked. It made me want to play it even more. Now here's a bit of negative. Came around launch day for Beyond. The update drops, I go ahead, I'm excited, I want to do what I'm doing right now, a first impressions video, so I launched the game, and 40 minutes into my first session, it crashes my GPU driver. So I brave on, I change a few settings, figure, hey, something's wrong on my system, I'm gonna try this again. So I go ahead and do that. Kaboom! 40 minutes into my second session, it crashes. So I'm like, alright, I do a little bit more. I update my drivers, I check more settings. I'm like, hopefully this is gonna work and it's just my fault. Kaboom! Third session, 40 minutes in, the game goes ahead and crashes again. So at that point, I'm kind of discouraged. I put the game aside and I kept an eye on the patches that came out. I think we're 3 patches since the release of the Beyond update at this point. And a lot of the changelog talks about rendering crashes. So I'm going to go ahead and assume that I was getting one of those. And I'm going to go back into this. It's been 3 days since I last tried. Hopefully this time I'm able to play for longer than 40 minutes. Even more, hopefully, for an indefinite amount of time, because I really do want to check this out. I have very little expectations about No Man's Sky. I was already impressed with their VR implementation, but I still have not quite much of an idea of what I'm getting into. So I hope to do this successfully with you once and for all. Go in, I'm gonna pick normal here, not gonna pick permadeath, and we're going to head in to No Man's Sky. Starting fresh, gonna do everything over, and I'm just hoping it holds together as long as it can. That being longer than fucking 40 minutes. So here's something I found quite confusing, actually. This is a really nice launch screen, especially in VR where you see the stars come at you in 3D. Problem here is I thought I had to press a button. It turns out, no, you don't have to press a button. This is kind of a load screen, and it takes a while for it to finish up. So, first time I'm there pressing all the buttons going, am I dumb? Am I doing something wrong? No, I'm not. This is just the introduction screen, and I'm pretty sure it actually serves as an actual load screen. So we're gonna take a look at this, and as soon as I spawn, we're gonna take a look at a few basic things.
Protection falling.
Gather ferrite dust for repairs. Alright. Let's check out where I can find ferrite dust. Oh, ferrite dust right there. So this is one of the first things I like. See, on launch day, it looks like this was a hollow shell of a game. I don't even know if it had a tutorial to get you started yet. But when I did all this through my 3 40-minute long sessions trying to get this game to run as long as I could, trying to get my first impressions of it, I went through all this and I was quite impressed with it. It actually showed me the basics rather quickly. And I'm gonna get to go through it with previous knowledge of everything I have to do, which is not necessarily a bad thing for first impressions because it's kind of slow-paced when you're doing it for the first time, and now I'll just be able to sort of go through it a bit smoother and just explain what I'm doing at the same time. So use right tool to fire the multi-tool beam and extract ferrite dust. Alright, so this is how I extract ferrite dust. I basically reached over my shoulder, grabbed my gun, and now I can actually go ahead and just grab some ferrite dust. So my thermal protection is doing really bad. Repair scanner damage. So now they're going to make me point my left hand, repair the scanner. Point at your left hand, access menu, select inventory with right trigger, and then I point at the scanner, and I simply put in the ferrite dust to repair it. And that has repaired my thing. So now I'm going to scan to locate sodium, as it was first instructed. And I can see there's some right there. I'm going to show you another really cool thing they did when it comes to the specifics of VR. Check this out. Check how I harvest the sodium. I'm going to grab, I'm going to pull, and boom, I got my sodium. Recharge hazard protection. So I know how to do this by heart. I go to quick menu, recharge equipment, hazard protection, and I put the sodium in it. And you can actually see that my protection right there, which is the first bar, has gone up. So I think it's left stick or right stick to, oh yeah, I have to exit this menu completely. Right stick will actually do another scan, and I can go ahead and find some more sodium right now. I've already got some creatures in view. I'm probably gonna harvest this oxygen while I'm at it. But I like the way it spawns you somewhere that doesn't have too much adversity. Gives you a smooth tutorial. I'm really surprised by the tutorial. And also just lets you have a look at the scenery. Something really important in VR. If you're gonna do a scenery that looks this good, and I really do think it looks pretty good, you're gonna need to give me something that's slow-paced enough that I can actually enjoy it. I can actually go ahead and just savor it for a moment before I actually get insta-killed. So, I'm gonna keep looking for sodium here. I'm gonna need a little bit before I actually get to the other tasks. And I just got attacked by a plant. Gotta be careful about that. Some plants will actually attack you when you pass them. I just want to remember how I jumped. There we go. Oh, that feels good. Oh, that feels awesome. So if I press B on my right controller, I jump. And if I hold it, you fuckers, if I hold it, I jump for a really long time. Check this out. Ooh, yeah. And, oh yeah, that hurt. That actually hurt me a little. That's okay though. Does some fall damage, it's not too overzealous. I'm gonna collect some dihydrogen crystals here, so basically water crystals. At least I think. Water would be dihydrogen monoxide, so I don't know if it's just dihydrogen or they shortened it. But I'm gonna call them water crystals. Ooh. Oh, that's so cool. I'm gonna do this a little bit too often, because it's kind of cool. And right now, I think my coordinates will be all the way there. And there's a kind of base already here. So I think I've already lost my way since I started this. Because this is actually going to be something I can take care of later, which I'll be able to enter these and go get some stuff. Or no, I can already enter them. So this, if I need shelter, I can actually use these. This is actually really cool. Back through this door, I'm gonna go to the signal source because they wanted me to do this. Alright, so when the Beyond update dropped, there were quite a few issues. Not just the crash I was getting, which I'm really hoping is resolved, but there were quite a few other issues. People complaining of crashes in some areas of the game, like the Nexus area, which I don't even know what it is yet. Some people were experiencing horrible performance, which in my case, I can't say this is performing perfectly. I do have to admit it's got quite a few frame drops. Like for some moments, I think it's recovering and it's starting to look good, and suddenly it just shits itself again. This is probably running somewhere around the 60 to 70 frames per second rather than 90, which would suit my Oculus Rift CV1. And that's kind of annoying. It should not be the case. They should have looked at this a little bit better and done more adjustments. So in the options menu, something that I noticed, and this is where I didn't experience any of the early accessness of this game, and I was really surprised when they dropped the Beyond update, even though we had quite a few issues, the options they've put in, especially for a first VR drop. See, this is where I expected that the VR drop was going to be just as bad as the launch day drop. It's going to be full of problems, lacking options, and so forth. I go in here and I go to control options, and I notice that they've got quite a few options that should be there for VR. Movement mode can be either teleport or smooth. Turning mode can be either snap or smooth. I much prefer smooth on both of these. VR Vignette can be enabled or disabled. What VR Vignette will do is reduce your field of view when you move too quickly to prevent motion sickness. I personally do not need that, and I think it's detrimental to the experience of virtual reality because it reduces your field of view, something I personally really don't like. So there's a bunch of VR-based options that I've seen a lot of games launch without. A lot of VR games, first-party VR games, launch without. It's got me really, really impressed. There's quite a few other options. There's the video options, which will affect how your VR works. Right now is one option I'm noticing here, which is motion blur amount, which seems to be absent in VR. They did this correctly. The max FPS, I can probably raise it all the way to 90. I don't know if it's going to help. I don't think it will. And probably have VSync off. I don't think that has any effect on the VR mode. But I do know that resolution does. So you can actually reduce the resolution of your game if it's running too poorly. Something, you know what, personally, I'd rather have the game run a little less efficiently and just give me better resolution. This is a personal opinion of mine. And then in graphics options, you can actually adjust a whole lot of things. So I'm gonna actually do something that's been recommended by a lot of streamers out there who have played this game in VR, which is to reduce the texture quality, to also reduce the likeliness of a crash. And the other options I actually played with while I was testing the game and got my sessions ending at 40 minutes due to a GPU driver crash. So I also turned off the anti-aliasing because the options are terrible. You either get TAA, TAA, FXAA, or FXAA and TAA, which are all really bad looking in virtual reality. Turn those off. And that's about it. I mean, these are not the best settings. I know that a lot of you would like to have something better, but they are good enough to keep the game running, keep it going smooth. And you see, just changing the texture quality, I can tell right now, has actually improved the performance, which kind of surprises me because nowadays video cards they have plenty of memory. So texture quality should not be a problem. However, looks like this game is pretty hefty with the textures. I have a GTX 1080 which has 8 gigabytes of RAM, and it still seems to be making a difference when I reduce texture quality. I'm definitely noticing a slight improvement. The other thing is, I think they screwed up one thing. I just remembered right now, I increased my frame cap, and it seems to have taken effect. I have not yet seen this game run this smoothly so far. So if you're getting bad frame rate, you press the Y button on your left-hand controller. If you're using Oculus, you go to Options, you go to Video Options, and you change max FPS from 60 to 90. It appears to have made a difference. I'm kind of surprised about that. I've seen bad performance in VR, and this is not as bad as the worst I've seen. I mean, yeah, you could complain a little bit, but it happens to be rendering massive amounts of things, and I kind of expected it when I saw it run the way it did the first time I launched it. So I didn't make too much of a fuss about it. I was kind of surprised to see so many people very upset with the way the game was running. I don't think it's entirely warranted. I do think the crash, and not just the crash I was experiencing, but the many crashes that could occur after the Beyond update are something people should rightfully be complaining about. But the VR performance is, I mean, I do expect them to improve it. It's not optimal, and it should be. But at the same time, it wasn't completely unexpected for my part. I really gave them some slack on that because I thought, like, hey, this is going to be a behemoth of a game. It's got a lot of terrain, it's got a lot of things to render, it's got a lot of little AI things running in the CPU. So I really didn't expect perfection from them when the Beyond update rolled out, and it sort of matched my expectations when it came to performance. So quite surprised to see such a big backlash about performance itself. I don't think it's that terrible right now, and I already think just by slightly adjusting those settings a second time that it's doing a lot better. That being said, I wouldn't recommend this to a VR beginner. it takes a pretty good deal of VR legs, some solid VR legs to be able to endure performance that isn't perfect in VR. And thus, I think maybe VR beginners should wait before getting this title until they actually optimize it enough for the asynchronous time warp and the asynchronous space warp to be able to keep up at correcting the performance of this game. Which right now the performance is low enough that sometimes even asynchronous space warp and asynchronous time warp are unable to compensate for it. So, excuse me while I go collect some sodium, which was near the site where I'm supposed to go, but here we go. I'm about to access the next objective, which says locate fragments. All right, I guess that was a side objective, but I can actually do this again. Scenario, iteration 231-187-611T, deleted. Boundary separation failure, likely. Vessel 16, emptied. Cause, Sentinel intervention, deliberate transfer. Analysis, fresh iteration generated. Anomaly containment prepared. Broadcast. Broadcast received. Traveler anomaly detected. Anomaly is compliant. Position log. System integrity scan initialized. So this is something I have to mention. I love the thing they do where I harvested sodium earlier and I activated that thing over there. It's kind of like if you were starting an old-fashioned gas engine, a lawnmower or a weed whacker. You have the string you have to pull to get the engine started. Well, they're using that to harvest things and to open certain interfaces with objects. You're going to see this with the ship again. So what I do is I reach for the object, hit my right grip trigger with my right hand, pull, and that opens the object. So check this out. I'm going to actually just go ahead and recharge my sodium right now. Good thing I went ahead and picked a lot of that up. And then we're going to go to the Radiant Pillar BC1. I'm going to do this gas string pulling thing, this engine starting thing. Boom! And I'm in the ship. I really like that mechanic. I think devs should pick up on that. I don't know if it's in other games, but it really got me impressed when I first tried it. Iteration 239-482-290-849-4... I fucked up that number. Online. That number is too fucking long. Atlas connection. Intermittent. Launch thrusters, offline. Pulse engine, offline. I find myself alone in a strange world, unequipped and in danger. I have no memory of how I got here, no sense of a before. But this ship at least seems to recognize me. The controls react to my touch, or at least that of my exosuit. I'm not dead yet, and this ship is a lifeline out to the stars. Log 4925A, unavailable. Substituting data. Exosuit. Connected. Suggestion. Pilot should perform maintenance. Select desired repair path. Repair ship systems. Self-guided repair protocols. Initiated. Pulse engine critically damaged. So I need a hermetic seal and metal plating. So this is going to be quite interesting. I'm going to get introduced to some of the crafting mechanics of this game. And there's something else that is really broken on the ship. But first I'm going to do this so that I can get out of the ship. So there's two handles, one on either side of the visor, or the canopy of the ship. You grab those with your grip trigger and pull on them, and that gets you out of the ship. I thought that was really cool. So repair ship engines, repair pulse engine, metal plating, which will require crafting. So collect ferrite dust, craft metal plating to repair pulse engine, and use ferrite dust. A lot of people will complain about their user interface. Eincro from Eincro Productions Co. is one of those who's complained a lot about their user interface. I'm going to play a little clip for you so you can see what I mean.
Oh, look, another fucking scroll menu that can't be used with the scroll wheel. Like, this is what scroll wheels are for, you retarded fucking animals. Use the fucking scroll wheel to scroll, not W and S. What do you think this is? Fucking assholes.
So yeah, he was not a fan of their user interface, and I kind of dreaded that when I decided to launch this in VR. I was like, ah, shit, the user interface is going to be terrible, is it? Oh, well, I'm surprised they did a lot better of a job adapting it for virtual reality than they did for almost anything else. I think they had console in mind when they developed their menus, and unfortunately, that really affected PC users to a point where the menus were clunky. And I haven't played that much of this game, only 2 hours in 3 separate sessions. I find that their UI is really actually kind of simple to use so far. So that impressed me. Didn't expect that. Inventory. Metal plating. Alright. In the Starship inventory, find the pulse engine, then begin repair with right trigger. Fine, pulse engine. And then I do this. Okay, cool. So now I think this is where they actually send me somewhere else. I'm gonna have to board the Starship and consult ship diagnostics, which is where they're gonna send me somewhere else actually. Iteration 239482904924924924924G. Functional. I got the number right, even though it's really fucking long. Starship critically damaged. Vital ingredients missing. Vital ingredients. We're baking a cake, people. Unable to synthesize required components. Pulse engine requires hermetic seal. Request assistance. Recommendation. Iteration comparison reveal hermetic seal nearby. Salvage planetary chart from distress beacon cache. Okay, repair pulse engine, repair launch thrusters, and repair launch thrusters. So let's get out of here. Let's see if it's got supplies. I peer inside the beacon's housing. As well as its distress broadcast unit, it contains a planetary chart. Of course I'm going to take the planetary chart, damn it. Planetary chart 1. Planetary chart recover. Open the inventory to view data. Highlight the chart and use A to plot a route. Okay.
Alert. Navigational data received.
Alright. Very cool. Reach the marked coordinates. Planetary chart used to plot route. Okay, so this is basically going where I came from. I think I'll find the hermetic seal at those little shelters I found earlier. So I am good on health. I am good on radiation protection. It is nighttime over here, looking really good. And everything's going smooth so far. In fact, performance-wise, a lot smoother than my first 3 sessions. Wow. I do think that in a way, my graphics settings helped. The fact that I raised the frame cap to 90 frames per second, but not just that. I'm starting to think that the patches they made have indeed improved performance. Alright, so here we go. Valuable geode acquired. Local geode inventory. Analyze with A. Geodes contain large quantities of ferrite. Okay, I'm actually gonna go for that. I think I go analyze. I'll do that again. And the geodes have probably given me a whole bunch of ferrite, which is pretty cool. Okay.
Temperature levels stabilizing.
Okay, so my thermal protection when I enter these completely restores. I had not noticed that through any of my playthroughs. I only noticed that today. First time I entered the other shelter to my left there, everything restored. That's pretty good to know. It's going to save me having to constantly hunt for sodium. So I have to go to the Holo Archive, and again, the gas engine starting method. Start my lawnmower. Accessing archive. 6 of 7 logs corrupted. Entry 49248 follows. No one making this recording in case leaving behind in the fabricator might be of some use. Visor damaged. Can't find ship. Recover supplies. The log finishes, and the machine whirs to life, spitting out supplies. I have the hermetic seal I need to repair my ship. Whoever it was that led me here, whoever left this message, perhaps they found themselves in the same situation as I do now. As I am now. What if it's me? Oh. Let's recover her health. Yes, nice. I took a couple of hits out there from the plants. I am now fully recovered. Okay, here we go. I think I have to head back to the ship right now and install the hermetic seal. Alright, find hermetic seal. Use analysis visor to locate starship. Raise your left hand beside your head and press left grip to toggle. Return to the ship to continue repairs. Analysis visor requires installation. Carbon nanotubes will be required. So I will have to mine some of the plants here in order to make some carbon nanotubes. Right. I think this is pure. Oh, weapon recharge needed. Alright, quick menu, recharge equipment, mining beam, and I will recharge it with some carbon. Beam low. You know what? I have some condensed carbon. I'm gonna go ahead and use that. And I can get some carbon from any plant I find in view here. Using this gun, which is lovely. And open the inventory with none to install analysis visor. Select empty multi-tool slot to install. Alright. Analysis visor. Now they're gonna want me to make carbon nanotubes. RT carbon nanotubes. And I have made carbon nanotubes. I have the oxygen I required, which I saw in there. So let's try this. Build menu, portable refiner, missing components. Oh, I'm missing oxygen for some reason. Complete the analysis. Okay. Wait. Install the analysis visor. Complete the analysis. Use. Okay. To access the multi-tool inventory, I go here and I install the carbon nanotubes. Got ahead of myself right there. I finally installed this thing. Analyze objects for rewards. I don't really need the portable refiner yet. I thought I was going to need the refiner to make the nanotubes for some fucked up reason. But here we go. My starship is there. And there's also copper deposit on the way, which I know I will need later on. So that is really good. Things are going really nicely here. I'm going to perform a little scan. There's some sodium over there. I'm going to actually go pick it up. I'm going to pick up some of these crystals here because I know I'm going to need them later. There's another objective that's going to need them. Now let's go run and get that sodium before I make a beeline for my ship. Alright, so something I'm going to do here as soon as I get there with the equipment I need. So I'm going to board the ship and get out, and I'll show you why. Woo! Whoa! Oh, come on. That actually hurt me a lot. That actually hurt me a good deal, for fuck's sake. Alright. Let's get in the radiant pillar. But there's something I want to do. I want to actually get out of it because it's going to save my restore point. I don't know how long I've been playing here, but in case the game crashes, which it may, at least I'll have my progress saved. The first time I played this and the second time I played this, I barely got this far. So I'm confident right now, even though I do not have track of time at the moment. I'm confident I played more than 40 minutes and the game is still going, which is a good thing, as this is working. Okay, repair the pulse engine, access inventory with right trigger, go to the pulse engine, and install this part. Yeah! Now it's the launch thruster, which is going to need pure ferrite and dihydrogen jelly. Now, I got a shit ton of ferrite, but I don't have pure ferrite. So check this out. Repair launch thrusters, dihydrogen jelly. I think this is where we get to crafting a refiner. Refiners transform simple materials. Refined materials hold more charge. Advanced technologies require refined materials. So I have my dihydrogen crystals. I will now go to the build menu and see if I can make this little refiner. Oh, it needs metal plating. Fine, perfect. I'm gonna go to inventory. I'm gonna select this and I'm gonna make a metal plate. Now I will have enough to go ahead and open the build menu and make a portable refiner. And there we go. So once again, just like everything in this game, you use the lawnmower thing. There we go. Started like a lawnmower. And in this input, I will put my dihydrogen crystals. And there is no fuel. This thing's going to need fuel. I'm going to put some carbon into it. And now I am ready to create my dihydrogen jelly, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it's going to yield me some dihydrogen jelly. And then I'll be able to use that in order to repair the ship. So it's gonna, I think, make me 5 units of it, which is really cool. So it's not gonna take too long. But right now what I can do is just exit it and let this thing work and explore a little bit while I'm at it. So my thermal protection is looking good because I've just been in the ship. See what this damaged machinery has. Bio input sensor. I'm going to go ahead and take that, unless, oh, I would have to repair it. I can't actually pick it up. Fine, that's cool. So there's a few basic issues with this UI. The most common one that I've seen so far is, well, first off, it doesn't always quite recenter as you'd expect it. That UI should kind of follow where you're looking, which it doesn't. Sometimes the center view drifts and you end up expecting to see the UI, except it's to your left or to your right. It looks like this game was conceived to be played forward-facing. It wasn't really designed for a full-out room scale where I could just go about and do this and start walking around. In fact, look at this. It's actually going to tell me about my play area, kind of like if I was using PlayStation VR. So it's kind of room scale, but limited room scale, which is probably not the best, but still, I'm impressed enough with what they've done so far, expecting something a lot more clumsy, that I'm ready to forgive things like that. Another problem they got, and they kind of dealt with it, but not perfectly, is when the UI goes through an object, you can barely see it anymore. It's not completely occluded, but I mean, this could be a lot better. I don't know how they could actually deal with this. I say this could be a lot better, but good luck dealing with that if you're with a dev. I mean, the UI needs to be at a certain 3D depth, and because the entire environment also has 3D depth to it, you can't have the UI suddenly be going through objects and still be at full brightness. So I do think they handled it the best they could. I mean, within the confines that they're capable of, but maybe they should have worked on a way to make it shift upward or make it get wider. I'm not entirely sure what they could have done with this, but it's obviously not ideal when you have a situation like this. Another problem I noticed, we saw it earlier, is when UIs start overlapping onto each other. That also is not the best. Okay, let's go see what this guy's doing right now. I can pick up the dihydrogen jelly, and I am ready to repair my thrusters, even though this thing's not completely done making the jelly. I'm actually going to take away this from it and just leave with it. I wonder if I can take the carbon back. Yes, I can. No, I didn't want to do that, you bastards. I ended up putting the carbon in there. I'm not too sure how to get it. Grease the launch thrusters with dihydrogen. Okay, yeah, I know that. Alright, then never mind. It looks like when you put fuel in this thing, it's done for. It's gone for good. So, let's get back into our ship. I will access the inventory. I will go to launch thrusters. and I will grease them with
Component repaired.
this. Now, there's one last step, and that's to get pure ferrite, which I can also get with my refiner. I think that's how I do this. Input, ferrite dust. Alright, we're full of fuel, and we're gonna just refine our ferrite. And repair this little bastard. That's right. Launch thrusters.
Component repaired.
That is repaired.
Logic repaired.
So I would get out again to restore my save point, to save my restore point, should I say. But I'm gonna go ahead and fly this ship now. If I start really liking this game, getting into it, there are odds that I start doing some kind of series on the channel with it. And if I go ahead and do that, I'm going to want better controls than this. For the ship, at least. When it comes to walking around the planet, having the VR hands is wonderful. I love the lawnmower starting mechanic to open objects, to harvest plants. I think it's actually brilliant. However, I have always hated the notion of controlling what should be physical controls with motion controls. Reason being, when I grab hold of this joystick and this throttle cluster, I'm not gonna feel like I'm holding a joystick nor a throttle cluster. This would be the same with a car. I think that driving a car in VR with motion controls is fucking stupid. If you're gonna drive a car, you're gonna want a steering wheel and some gas pedals. If you're gonna drive a ship, you're gonna want a joystick, rudder pedals, and maybe a throttle cluster. Most joysticks do have a throttle control on them, which does help a lot, so you're gonna have to spend money on the extra throttle cluster, but it's always nice to have one because then you can use one entire hand for the throttle, one entire hand for the stick, and also throttle clusters will come with more buttons. I do think though when it comes to flight that one of the most important things after the stick is not this, it's the rudder pedals in order to do a realistic yaw with your feet. It's so important. I used a CH Combat stick for Elite Dangerous, and I also use CH Products Pro pedals for the rudders, and that's gone really great with Elite Dangerous. So eventually what I'm going to do is I'm going to make myself a seat with rudder pedals and a joystick in order for me to be able to fly a ship more realistically. What I really like about this game is that they put a recenter option, so I think if I press both sticks, I'm not sure what the mechanic is, but there is a button to recenter your view in VR. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically sit where my joystick and rudders are located, recenter my view, fly the ship, get out of the ship, get up from my chair, and recenter the view again. It sounds complicated when I say it, but it's not. The only thing complicated is getting the setup working for it, mapping all the controls correctly, which I think I'll be able to do. Once I do that, I think I'll have a lot more fun with the ships. That being said, I'm not ready to do that yet. For now, I'm just going to go ahead with the motion controls and do it the way I think is most definitely not optimal. So, I have to collect the portable refiner before I go. All right, fine. Press right stick to pick up. All right, there we go. That's cool, actually. So I have fuel in there, but it's not going to be completely wasted because I picked it up, and I'll be able to deploy it somewhere else. Use left grip to grip the throttle, push the throttle forwards and take off. Hold right grip, lift the cockpit handle to exit. So, okay, so check this out. I'm going to start the throttle, and this is actually going to move the ship. I'm going to grab my joystick, and this is going to allow me to control. Now, I do say that it's a ridiculous way of controlling something that has physical controls. But at the same time, it's not so bad. See, if you don't have a joystick and you still want to be able to play this game, it's not the end of the world. It's not that great. I mean, I wish it could be better, but it is what it is. I mean, if you don't have a joystick, you can air control your ship, basically, just by having your hands floating in emptiness and pretending to do the throttle and the joystick. And, I mean, everything does work. So what's really weird here is that roll is kind of yaw at the same time, something I'm really not familiar with for flight controls, and I find completely unintuitive. But whatever. I mean, I'm gonna live with this. I know what I'm in for. I know it's really not that great. But we're gonna leave this planet, which is what I think I have to do. Hold right grip, adjust the flight stick to steer, left grip to, okay. Press A to initiate landing, alright? But I would like not to initiate landing. I would like to leave here for now and go ahead and demonstrate what happens. I've gone through all of this, including the departure from a planet. I thought it looked quite incredible, so I want to get right to it for my video. Show you this. It's actually really good. It's quite unique for this game to do this. I don't know if many games out there do this kind of thing where you can actually leave an entire planet, fly into space, into another, without really any transitions or loading screens, but this is quite impressive. So I got my throttle to the max at this point, and I think the star chart just came up, which means I am, in fact, leaving this planet, and soon it's actually going to offer me to test a bunch of controls. Use the throttle to change speed. So I'm basically just flying off here. I can take a look at where it's set. I've adjusted my trim. I set a course. I am leaving this planet. You can actually see the atmospheric line above the planet. It is somewhat simplistic, but it's still quite impressive to get, especially in VR, because even though these models and visuals are simplistic, I got depth perception to them. So it really does feel like I have this enormous ass planet below me, and then I'm seeing the atmosphere fade away below it. And now that I'm flying into space into what appears to be a cloud of gas. Orbital flight achieved. Test Starship Systems 1 of 3. Test boost with left trigger. Alright. Engage the boost. So you can see I'm flying away a lot faster. Oh cool, asteroids. Alright. Hold X to test pulse engine. Here comes the pulse engine, so I'm going to actually try to adjust my attitude here so I get a better view of me leaving. Ooh, there's another planetary body over there. I don't know if that's a satellite of this planet or if it's another planet, but let's go. Let's try the pulse engine here. Oh, I let go too early. Oh, shit. Here we go. And everything is gone now. I'm just seeing some shit fly by. This is kind of 2D. It doesn't really feel like it's got any depth to it, but the fact that it's wrapped around you is very cool. Answer the, okay, I gotta answer the incoming call right now by going to the Starship communicator. Ooh. Incoming transmission. Source 4925B. Please identify yourself. I'm Gz. Alright, I'm gonna identify myself even though his name is Gz. You are not Gz alone. What do you mean I'm not Gz alone? Do you mean I'm not fucking alone? Follow the Gz. The broadcast ends as strangely as it began. The final piece of the signal appears to be a set of planetary coordinates. Input coordinate data. Oh.
Alert. Navigational data received.
Oh shit. Alright. It is behind me. Alright, I'm gonna reduce throttle here. Because I gotta fly through some asteroids with these really weird controls. But here we go. Press left stick to scan. Cool. Ooh, okay. So now I think I engage the pulse drive again in order to fly directly to this thing, and it's only gonna take a minute rather than take an hour and 39 minutes. I'm getting some Elite Dangerous vibes here. I don't know how close this will get to Elite Dangerous. The fact that I'm flying the ship with motion controls right now would probably be terrible in the context of combat. But when I get a more elaborate setup, I will be interested to see if they've got anything to deliver when it comes to combat and flight controls. I really enjoy that. I enjoy aviation combat in VR. I enjoy space combat in VR. So if they've done it any half decently, I might actually enjoy this. So I have a prediction here. I got a feeling we're going to be maybe flying through some rings. But this is really cool. This is absolutely cool. Yep, just flew through some rings. 4, 3, 2, 1, and we're almost out of fuel at the same time. Alright. So I'm gonna engage the throttle. Okay, so now the game is loading something because the frame rate is absolutely struggling. And I remember having issues at my first playthrough with, wow, this is cool, the plasma glow when you enter the atmosphere. I remember having issues with this landing mechanic. Hopefully it goes a little better for me this time. Okay, this is behind the mountain. But given how scuffed it is, I have to be really careful with this motion control thing. Try to do this. Whoa! Yeah, this is how it went the first time. All right, cool. It's kind of like you got too much throttle. Oh, so to roll, I think I can invert the ship, which is pretty cool. There we go. Got it. First time I tried to initiate landing, it actually worked, which is cool. Word of warning to VR newcomers. What I just did is not recommended. You might want to do it smoother. In fact, VR newcomers might really want a joystick and some rudder pedals to do this a lot smoother. I've yet to discover, by the way, if rudder pedals respond correctly in this game, so can't guarantee anything. If it's just a joystick, then it's just a joystick, but even just a joystick will do 90 times better than what I just did. You're gonna come in and the controls are gonna respond way too intensively, and it's gonna make you motion sick. I'm just saying, I've got some pretty fucking strong VR legs when it comes to vehicle flight. I can take pretty much anything. I could have had this thing spinning like a top, and I would have been fine. I would actually enjoyed it. That does not apply to VR newcomers, just saying. Alright, so it's gonna save my restore point. And I am on Rokar in the Seongo system. First contact. What is this? What does it have on its head? This is fucking weird. I know that the creatures are cross-gen in this game, but what the hell? It looks like a raptor with, I don't know, what happened to you, dude? Whoa. Christ. At least they don't make him attack you. Broken technology. The sparking wires of the machine generate a signal, tapping out its broadcast into the void. Whoever left the message is long gone. Decipher signal. Decoding. 16. 16. 16. Alright. That's a lot of information. Entry 4925C. No fuel and gz. Failed to reach station. Hazard protection low. No choice but to gz underground. Deployed base computer. As well as the log entry, the signal contains plans for a base computer and a terrain manipulator. With any luck, the base computer will hold more information about whoever is leaving these messages. Extract plans. Now I know what I'm going to need here. I'm going to need to build the base computer, which is going to need chromatic metal, which in turn is going to need copper, if I'm not mistaken. So, new terrain manipulator, and oh yes, to get the terrain, to get to the base computer and get that stuff crafted for it, I will need to mine copper, which means I will need to upgrade my little gun thingy in order to be able to extract that. So, carbon nanotubes. I think I've already got what I need to do that. Let's go to the inventory. Let's tap this key. Right. Starship out of range. So I need to be within the range of my starship in order. Ooh, wait, no. I am in the starship inventory right now. There we go. So I can make carbon nanotubes. And I think I can make some more carbon nanotubes because I got enough. All right. And then I go to multi-tool. And I can go A to install technology. And install a terrain manipulator. I'm going to put the carbon nanotubes and the dihydrogen jelly. I do believe it's done. Yes, that was quick. So that's why I harvested a few extra materials earlier, because I saw this coming. So now I can pull this out, and it's going to do this now. So use the analysis visor to look at deposit Ferrite. Okay, so that's how it's going to work. The one thing I forgot how to do here. Oh, this is how we change modes. So now I'm in mining mode, and then I can change the mode and go back into terrain manipulator. All right, I fucking jinxed it. I'm at the second planet. You know, I did that interplanetary travel. I land, I'm like, hey, this is nice. I go collect my copper deposit. Everything goes well. I check the time for which I've been recording, and it says it's been recording for 1 hour and 10 minutes. So at that point, I get encouraged, and I'm like, hey, the game hasn't crashed yet. Maybe they fixed this. I swear, 1 minute after I said that, it went ahead and crashed on me. And it's the exact same type of crash I got last time. My GPU driver blew up, took down the runtimes, the VR runtimes. And the good thing is I was able to keep my OBS recording. I was able to keep my OBS recording through the whole thing, just restart the runtimes and the VR, and here I am. So I don't have to do multiple recordings and resync my audio a bunch of times. At least that stuck together. The problem is now it looks like they haven't fixed the GPU driver crash that I've been getting. Now, I did see something in the changelog where there's an out of memory error for this game with some GPUs. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to enter the options, and what they recommend for this, and I don't like doing it, is to go to the graphics options and put texture quality to standard, which in my opinion is a ghetto fix, but I'm just going to do it because I'm tired of crashing. And yes, the textures look considerably less good now. But fine. I mean, if it's going to do that, I'm going to have to mess with this. So I can use the analysis visor, which I last installed before I saved, and I'm gonna go back into it and get my copper. And at this point, since the game lasted over 1 hour without crashing, as opposed to the first few times I played it where it would crash after 40 minutes, I'm not expecting to experience another crash until I actually finish the first impressions video. When I first played this game, in 3 sessions of 40 minutes each because of the crashing issue, I ended up building my first structure out of wood, and that's the point at which the game went ahead and crashed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get to that point again. I'm going to get to the point where I'm building my first structure out of wood. I'm going to save the game. I'm going to call it a video. It's good enough for first impressions. I mean, you can see from what I've experienced the good, the medium, and the bad. The bad being that, fuck, it still crashes. So hopefully having changed the texture quality prevents it from crashing again until I accomplish the objective I want to accomplish, which is to just build my first structure, save, and get out of here. And what I'm going to do after that is I'm going to play the game on my own or with Eincrow. I might even stream those sessions, I'm not sure yet, but I just want to get some stick time with No Man's Sky. Discover what more it has to offer beyond the introduction. And if I like what I see there, I'm actually going to start a series with this game, a video series, whether it be a Let's Play or just randomly doing a video here and there, maybe some co-op gameplay, I'm not sure yet. But my research into this game will eventually lead into a series if I like it enough. And obviously I would love to resolve this crashing issue once and for all. It's probably going to need a bit more time than just the context of this first impressions video. So for now, I mean, when it comes to first impressions, I'll usually play a game 2-3 hours when it's of this size before I go ahead and do the video, which is the case now. And I've played it, I mean, by the time I'm building the structure, I'll have played this for quite some time. Oh, it's the first time I see these. I'll have played this for quite some time, enough to at least give you an idea that, you know, do I like what I'm being shown? Do I like the way it works? Do I like their VR controls and so forth? I'll be able to make that determination after this amount of playtime. This is definitely not the kind of game I would have been able to do a first impressions video of in only an hour, which for some games is the case, not for something of this magnitude. I do think that even though I started from the beginning after 2 hours for this session here, after my first session in 3 bits of 40 minutes each, I do think I have enough information to determine whether I think I like this or not. All right, I think this is copper deposit. Yes, it is. So I'm going to go straight for that. I just saw, I don't know if this is the same creature as I saw earlier. Let's go take a look at it. Yeah, it is. Hi. How you doing? I think I've scanned it. Okay, no. The game crashed after I analyzed this. All right, cool. So I see the deposit from here. I'm doing almost exactly the same thing right now as I did before the game crashed. So that's really, really unfortunate, and it really does appear to be a problem with this game, and not, for example, a problem with my system, because I'm able to record multiple hours of gameplay. I'm also able to stream multiple hours of gameplay with the system without getting this kind of issue. So, very unfortunate. Copper. All right, here we go. Copper, silicate powder. Copper. This is a very skinny copper deposit. First time I played this, at my 3rd session of 40 minutes long, I was able to mine a lot more copper than this. So I think this has exactly the basic requirement you'd need to craft the materials, which is chromatic metal. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm really doing this virtually identically to before the point where the game crashed. What the hell? You have horns? I gotta say, on launch days, their cross-gen was making some really funky looking creatures. They might have actually fixed that, because the creatures look a lot more legit than what I saw on YouTube after this game's launch day. It might have improved quite a few things in that regard. Alright, there's a cave here. I'm gonna definitely want to go check that out. But for now, let's just get on with the objective. I need to deploy the refiner from the build menu. The refiner that I picked up before I left. I do believe it's full of fuel. So all I gotta do is give it some input, which will be my copper. Here we go. And no fuel. Oh, you bastards, you took my fuel. All right, then I'm gonna give it some fuel, and here it goes. I'm probably gonna get all the units I need. Yes, because they told me to harvest a specific amount of copper. So here we go. I'm even gonna stay here because I'll pick it up right when it's done. Chromatic metal into the exosuit. And find a suitable area and deploy the base computer. Point your left hand on your access menu, point the build menu. All right, cool. Build menu, base computer. Let's put the base computer right over... right over here. Register the landing. Use the base computer with right grip, move the movement terminal with right stick to choose a new site. Before I do that, just in case the game wants to have issues, we'll go ahead and save my restore point. Alright, so I got my refiner there. I got this guy here. Searching cartographic archives. Universal Archive search reveals no prior claims on this site. Sonar test confirms this site is suitable for construction. Claim site, yes. Please. Okay, restore point saved again. Base computer online. Search base computer archives. Use the terminal with right grip. Yes, I will do that again. Accessing log from previous user. Entry 4925D follows. Storm sweeping across, but construction supplies low. Depositing shelter plans while need to back soon. Extract plans. Aw, yeah. Core infrastructure parts receive 5 items learned. So I have the wooden wall, a wooden platform, and if I'm not mistaken, foundation. There we go. Ooh, even a flag and a light. Nice. Construct bases as shelter from harsh environments. Expand your base by earning new construction blueprints. Return to your base to store and process items as you explore. Beautiful. So I'm just going to go ahead and recharge my equipment with some good tasty sodium. I exit that, and I think it's time to get some more carbon. Now to the build menu. And I have wooden floor, wooden roof, wooden wall, and wooden door frames. So, wooden floor. All right. Start with a wooden floor. I think they want me to make like the simplest type of hut possible at this point. I'm just going to go ahead and place this. I think I can make it larger than they want me to. But right now I'm just going to stick to it because I think they want me to make 3 wooden walls, a door, and a roof, basically, which is as simple as it gets. Something that bothers me is I cannot see, without going back to the inventory, I cannot see how much carbon I have. So I'd be able to see, 604 carbon? Okay, we're going to get fancy here. We're actually going to get fancy. Let's, no, it's not the wall that I wanted. I'm not exactly sure how to get back to, okay, floor panel. I'm going to put the other floor panel there. All right, I'm going to change to wooden wall. Well, that's weird. I have to aim at the target in order to place the wall. Got it. Okay, there's a storm coming, so that's good. I guess that's convenient timing to show me how to build. All right, and now I'm going to want a doorway. Wooden doorway. Absolutely beautiful. I wonder if I can just create 2 doorways. Yes, I can. Oh, that's cool. All right. Wooden roof. Beauty. Absolute beauty. Habitation program initializing. Base computer log updated. Return to the base computer. Can I put an actual door here? I don't think so. Oh, there's kind of like a force field to my door. Oh, that is so cool. Where are my vitals when I'm in here? Okay, storm. When I enter... Oh, nice! My vitals are actually restored when I enter my little shitty shelter. That's fucking cool. Oh, I'm gonna really like that. Okay, before I go to the base computer... I did it, right. Good. Well, let's take a look at my base before I go back to the computer. That's cute. I mean, it's wood, which is super low tech, but at the same time, it's really good looking wood structures. This ain't no Ark Survival Evolved shack. This actually looks really good. I'm impressed so far. I'm impressed. I think I'll be really enjoying this game. I really hope I'll be enjoying this game. You know what? I'm going to be fussy here. There's something I like to do. I don't know if it's going to let me. Yes, it will. I want more deck plating. I want a porch. So here, I have a porch now. That's absolutely fucking cool. So if I go in here, my radiation level will come right back. I don't need to constantly do the sodium shit anymore. That is really cool. Okay, let's go to the base computer. What do you want? Accessing log from previous user. Additional archives recovered. Right trigger. Entry 49258 follows. Construction largely a success. Recovered salvage data from nearby Plans logged. Scans indicate additional subterranean devices. Beginning search. Whoever recorded these logs evidently had some success. I have access to their plans, and perhaps I can learn from their efforts. Wait, what's that again? Research unit construction. Portable blueprint research device. This field deployable research module allows the user to convert old or damaged technology modules into advanced construction blueprints. So I'm going to need magnetized ferrite and carbon nanotubes. Expand your base by earning new construction blueprints. Dig up buried technology to earn new blueprints. Power your base to enable advanced technology. Use teleporters to instantly return to your base during your travels. Construction research, you magnetize ferrite. Place pure ferrite in portable refiner input. Oh, so if I don't have refined ferrite, I need to first refine the ferrite, then make magnetized ferrite. I gotcha. I'm first going to save this, and there's something I want to do before we even go crazy like this. I may end up completely sabotaging from this point on while I'm going in this cave, because I'm planning on ending this video. I have enough. I have over an hour and a half at this point, probably an hour and 45 minutes of material. I was able to run the game over an hour. It sounds ridiculous to say that. Oh, thank you, game, you ran over an hour. But I appreciate it from the fact that at first I was only able to run it for like 40 minutes without crashing. Hopefully that's going to get resolved. In the meantime, I lowered texture quality because I think they're aware of their out-of-memory issue, and I'm confident that they're eventually going to completely resolve it. Until then, I'm going to wait a little bit more. So I waited 3 days. The patches seem to have improved a few things. Performance, they seem to have improved that crash issue because the game lasted a little bit longer on me. But it needs still more time before it's fully up to snuff. That being said, I've seen some people play this game for multiple hours without a single issue. It does look like the issue I'm experiencing is not particularly common. It's going to happen to some people and not to others. So, and that being said, for those of you who are curious of playing this game in virtual reality, No Man's Sky VR, which was up till very recently completely unexpected for me, I would recommend this game cautiously, because you might have issues, you might have performance problems. So my recommendations is, if you have a GTX 1070 or greater, you'll be fine with this game. There are some changes you'll have to do in the video options, but you'll end up with something quite acceptable for VR. You'll end up with performance that isn't perfect, but if you have anywhere near acceptable VR legs, something that's anywhere near solid, you'll be good. You don't have to have some super ninja solid VR legs. Just decent VR legs will be able to handle the performance hitches in this game on a GTX 1070. If you have anything equal to that or above, go ahead. I actually am cautiously recommending it, even though it's not perfect yet. Reason being is this looks like it's got a lot to offer. It also looks like it's being maintained heavily by the studio. Despite the fact I said at the beginning I condemn the notion of launching something that should be in early access without even labeling it as early access, I do think that they've made up for that by now by constantly maintaining the game. Clearly, if anything, the studio making this game, the developers, the individuals involved with it, were passionate about what they were making. You can tell it from the way they tried to maintain it after its initial launch. I don't think a studio that wanted to do a cash grab would have kept working at it at all. They would have just taken the money and ran, which is not what they did, and I am really thankful for that. I'm also really thankful that they implemented VR, and even though it's not perfect, like I said, these guys have a lot of respect for the technology. I mean, this is, when it comes to mechanics, interfaces, and navigation, this has enormous respect for virtual reality. I am really, really pleased with what I've seen so far. And if I had to imagine any ways of implementing VR, I could not have thought it through better than they did. I think they did a really good job of it. So now it looks like if I walk near those things, I might actually get harmed. But this cave is looking awfully cool, and I'm going to proceed. I'm going to proceed because I'm not scared of what happens. If I get killed, I saved the game at the point where it was relevant. All this, what I'm doing right now, is absolutely, completely, totally irrelevant. Alright, I've reached a dead end in the cave, so now's my cue to climb back out. I think I'm gonna actually survive this, believe it or not. Oh wow, I've actually traveled a whole bunch of units. I think that gave me an achievement. So I'm gonna travel back out of here. Go back to my base, save the game one last time, and call it a video. I did this exercise to actually get an idea of what the cave environment would look like and if there would be any adversity in there for me to deal with. Aside from a few hostile plants I saw with warning signs on them, I did not encounter anything, which doesn't mean that there is never adversity in the caves. It just means that this one doesn't have any. But something I'm impressed with is the visuals in this cave. It looks really good in here. This is probably some of the best looking fauna I've seen in this game so far. And I really am liking this jetpack. I don't know if there's fuel to it. I hope not. But this is really, really cool. So let me climb on rather steep inclines, so that saves me having to use my jetpack every 2 seconds. It's a very good thing. But this is some really good looking fauna, and the game is... Whoa! Shit! Hazardous flora. Fuck the hazardous flora. Holy shit, I'm out of here. keep getting fucking killed here. Holy shit. Oh, my hazard suit is actually protecting me from all that. Wow. But this is some of the best looking color schemes I've seen in the game so far. I do have to admit that the planets look already really good, but these caves are something else in terms of graphics. And now that I'm at the mouth of the cave looking up, which I didn't do when I walked in, this looks really fucking cool. All right, let's use the jetpack to get out of here. Woo! Whoa! Oh, that's cool. I honestly wish this game didn't have any fall damage because it's cool to be able to drop from a high altitude in VR. It's something I've taken a huge liking into. I know that it's not the best thing to do if you're a VR beginner, but if you have solid VR legs, jumping feels fucking awesome. So here we go. I'll save my game. I will call it a video. When I play this next, whether it be on stream or off stream, I'll get some time with it. I might do it with Aincro. I don't know yet. Once I get enough time with this game, I will plan a series for it. It's probably going to be a Let's Play series. And we'll see more of No Man's Sky on this channel. That's a pretty solid way to know that my first impressions are good. Despite the problems I've had, if I was really pissed off about the problems I've had to the point where I dislike this, I would tell you right now. And I'm not doing that. I'm saying this is worth dealing with the issues. The issues are probably going to get fixed. But what you have in here is actually really, really good for virtual reality. So on that note, you've been watching Stereo 3D Productions. And this first impressions video of No Man's Sky. And I shall see you next time. Thanks for watching. Ooh. All right, where did I put the beer? Where's my beer? Can I build beer bottles? Where's my beer? Oh, decoration. Lights.